I'm going to lean in a little bit.
There you go.
Oh, okay.
Okay. You guys are live.
All right. Good afternoon. Omar Borja for Ask for Football here with Tim Pernetti, the commissioner of the American Conference, or as I like to say, America's Conference. Sir, it's great to have you on. Can you tell us a little bit about yourself that, the audience may not know about you?
Well, pretty excited to be at the Army Navy game. Maybe something people don't know. No, I've had a fun journey as a professional through the sports business, and this job has been nothing short of just kind of pinching myself a little bit. It's exciting to be part of college sports. I played football at Rutgers, and it changed my life. It was like the hardest thing I ever did, but it really shaped me into who I am. And to be able to be around the sport as a professional it's really been a remarkable destination for me. So, but it's great to be at Army Navy. It's a culmination of a great year in our conference where there was a lot of great football, and being that both schools are in the American, I don't think I can lose tomorrow.
Absolutely. We talked a little bit about a conflict of interest beforehand with some of these questions. You mentioned playing football at Rutgers. So I've been an Army fan my whole life. So I sat through a lot of the butt kickings Army took against Rutgers, but doing some research beforehand, I saw that you went 2-3 against Army.
I did.
So are there anything you remember most about playing the Black Knights?
Oh, yeah. So when I was a redshirt freshman, so I wasn't able to compete in games. I was practice player of the week, and the reward was you got to dress for the away game. So the away game was Army, and I dressed, and it was the first time I was ever in Michie Stadium as a student athlete. And it was a close game, and there was a guy named Mike Mayweather that was running the ball down our throat, but we were up 4 points towards the end of the game. And after running the ball down our throat the entire game, I remember watching the quarterback fake to Mayweather, and I remember watching this tight end just drift down the field all by himself. And the ball was in the air for about 100 years. He caught it, and they won the game. And I remember thinking to myself, talent-wise, I thought we were better and deeper and bigger and stronger. But when you play Army, you're going to fight on every single play, no matter what the score is. And we got them a couple times during my tenure, but I think they got us a little more than we got them. But that was a game that you could not overlook.
Absolutely. And I'm sure like a lot of opponents, even in this day and age, would say the same thing about Army. Much more so our fellow American Conference mates. I guess my next question too is, can you take me through your path to becoming a conference commissioner? Just looking at your bio, working with TV networks,
yep,
and then becoming an athletic director. Like, how did each step of the way help you to reach the point we're at right now?
Well, I think everything you do in your career is an experience, right? And some will work out better than others. Some jobs you'll do well and you'll get promoted, and some places you'll get fired. And I've been on the receiving end of all of that stuff. I always wanted to work in sports. And, my moment was I was playing in a game my senior year. It was during a TV timeout. And me and a teammate of mine struck up a conversation in the huddle about what goes on during TV timeouts. And I immediately became fascinated with the sports business. I started in television, sort of learning the deal-making business. And I turned that on to start a network from scratch called CSTV. It was a college cable network. That's when I did my original football deals with Army and Navy, which became part of CBS now. I did the original deals. CBS acquired the network. And, from there, I went back to Rutgers to be athletic director. I took them into the Big Ten. We were there. I launched an MLS team, having never played soccer. And then I spent 10 years at IMG on various businesses. My career has been a series of left turns. And I think a lot of people get on a path and they want to stay on that path. To me, I've been excited to do things that I don't understand or don't know anything about, because skills are transferable. But it's the experience that counts. And whether it's good or bad, you have to take something from everything.
I think that's very well put, sir. I think in this day and age with how college athletics is going, like diversity of experience and just different experiences, just everything in the industry, I feel like, at least from my outside perspective. Now to shift gears a little bit, I think this is a hot topic with the college football playoff, tiebreakers. So as commissioner, there may be a team that on the other sideline that may feel a bit slighted by the tiebreakers. And then, of course, witnessing what happened in the ACC with what happened with their tiebreakers. Do you feel, are you satisfied with how the tiebreakers played out from a college football playoff perspective? And as a commissioner, seeing a team get represented in the college football playoff, not due to the tiebreakers, but the tiebreakers didn't hurt that.
No, listen, there is no tiebreaker in the college football playoff selection process, right? That's all done by a committee. And Tulane, as the 4th highest ranked conference champion in America, earned their spot. And there was no debate. as far as tiebreakers in conferences, it relates to who plays in the conference championship game. That's a little more challenging. I can't really speak to any other conference but ours. We deliberately designed our tiebreaker to be simple and easy to understand. And at the end of the year, I think, despite the fact that Navy ended the year with a 10-2 record, that they looked at the tiebreaker and understood why it would be North Texas and Tulane playing in that championship game, including head-to-head, Navy lost to North Texas. So my advice is, like, you keep these things simple. Like, if they're complicated and hard to understand, then it draws ire from fans. But ours has been, even by a couple other conferences and writers, been pointed to and celebrated for being simple and easy to understand. So I think we're on a good track in the American.
I agree. I think that just having something that the casual fan can just look to and understand quickly, it's a benefit to the product of the conference. I really agree. Another question I have, I think a lot of our viewers might want to ask, where did the idea of Soar the Eagle come from, and how long was it in the works?
It was in the works for a year. So when we started, we went into a branding exercise to look at the brand, evaluate it, and what we learned was that American Athletic Conference, AAC, didn't mean anything to anybody. So we simplified it to just be the American, to avoid confusion with ACC, AAC, just the American. And then we built core brand tenets around it: innovation, grit, like it's just a tough league, and then service, which is very consistent with the military academies. And an idea came to me by someone that I work with in the office about a mascot. And I was like, how will that be viewed in the industry? Should we be careful? And then I thought to myself, well, it's new intellectual property. Like, we could sell sponsorship into it. And then we came up with, all right, what are symbols that are uniquely American? Landed on the eagle. And SOAR was born. And as part of that, SOAR has become intellectual property that we have in the market. Like, we're talking about beer deals, sneaker deals, soda deal, jersey and apparel deal. And this will become a physical thing at the basketball tournament later this year. But the main reason we liked it is because it's innovative. No conference in America is doing it. And so far, it's actually been great. SOAR is actually on our holiday card this year, even though we haven't even brought it to life yet.
I think it's amazing, honestly, just having a mascot. I mean, some people may laugh, but you see SOAR everywhere. Like, I remember just watching Army Tulsa, and Jeff Monken was standing next to a referee that had SOAR the Eagle
on the hat.
And
by the way, the officials in the Army-Navy game tomorrow will be wearing those hats because they're our officials.
Absolutely. Is there any way I can get a referee hat with SOAR the Eagle?
You know the right guy. We probably can work something out in the off season.
Hopefully, I'll follow up on that.
All right,
I will wear that a lot. Another question I have. So it seems that the Power Four is trying to squeeze the Group of Five out of the college football playoff. And this year, there is a clear line between the American and the rest of the Group of Five, or Group of Six, if you with a Pac-12 in. That's a whole nother discussion. With that kind of narrative being shifted, with the American potentially being better than the ACC, but yet there's still that kind of attention to the sticker on the helmet, do you think that there's maybe another need for like a P6-like campaign that your predecessor Mike Oresco took, or is it just kind of are you more focused on the teams taking care of everything on the field?
Focused on that, the latter, right? Because you can't control anything else. I think what Mike's campaign did was really create a great awareness around the American, which is a conference that's seen various versions of itself over its 14-year history. But we've adopted an approach to just do our talking on the field. And I think this year was a great example of that. Like, I didn't spend any time talking about our phenomenal brand of football and how competitively deep we were. It just took care of itself. And I don't agree totally with the statement. Like, the media may speculate that somebody's trying to squeeze somebody out. Like, I'm in the room with commissioners. That's not what's going on. We're talking about the future of the playoff and how we make sure the format in the future is set up in the best possible way to be inclusive and put the best teams on the field. And that will continue to be the focus.
Absolutely. I really love that approach. It's on the field because that's all you can take care of. Related to the postseason, but on a different note, bowl games. Arguably, I love bowl games more than the playoff. I'm old-fashioned despite my young age. I guess what's in store for the future of the Americans bowl agreements? Because the American has landed themselves, in my eyes, as good, like the bowls that are as good as it gets in the Group of Five, whether it be the Fenway Bowl, because who doesn't love Fenway Park, the Independence Bowl, although part of that was because of Army having a previous agreement, and of course my favorite is the backup tie-in with the Liberty Bowl.
Yeah.
I mean, that's honestly I think the holy grail of Group of Five bowl games. So I guess, are there more backup agreements in store like the Liberty Bowl? I mean, is there any other directions we're taking with the conference's bowl?
Yeah, so the bowl cycle is up at the end of this year, and because the CFP hasn't made a decision about the future format, if it stays put, then everything gets renegotiated, and if it changes, there'll be renegotiations. But the great news for us is, like, we have great tie-ins. I'm interested in working with bowl games where we can get great opponents and we're a priority to them. Backup agreements are fine, but I think based on our performance, we should be a priority. Last year, we won the Bowl Challenge Cup. We were 6-2. We beat 3 autonomy opponents. And this year, we have 9 teams competing in bowl games. And I expect we're going to perform really, really well. Performance matters. So I think when it comes time to look at the future of our bowl schedule, we're going to have even better opportunities than we have today.
Absolutely. I'm excited for what's in store. I mean, with the new bowl contracts, it's anything can happen. So another question I have, so the conference draws its lineage from the Big East. You being a Rutgers alum, does that make that job even more special than it is? I know it looks much different than when you were playing, but I mean, Temple's still there. South Florida's still there.
Yeah.
So does that
I'd say ironic more than special, because I was athletic director at Rutgers when Mike Oresco was the newly hired commissioner of the Big East. And I called Mike to tell him that we were leaving for the Big Ten. And then there was another rush of departures, which was how the American Conference was born. So it's ironic more than anything that I ended up in charge of a conference that I had a hand in creating indirectly by taking Rutgers to the Big Ten. But I don't think there's a more resilient league in America than this conference. And it's seen many versions of itself, but we just continue to come back and come back. Like, it's something my dad told me when I was a young kid. He said, when life kicks you in the face, get up and come back for more. And I think that's what this conference is.
Yeah, that's amazing life advice. I mean, I've heard Rocky Balboa say something similar, of course.
My dad was not Rocky Balboa, but he was a tough guy. So.
I don't doubt that. So going into resilience and versions of the conference. So the last round of conference alignment happened before you were commissioner. So for the next round, what are some aspects or characteristics you're prioritizing for potential, maybe backfills or even just expansion itself? The conference doesn't have to lose people.
Listen, expansion is taking on a life of its own. And I said this earlier in the week. I was at a college athletics conference. It's time for everybody to wake up and stop tearing each other apart. There's opportunities out there. And as it relates to the American, we will look at every opportunity. My job is to create value for everybody in the league. But we have to be careful about doing that at the cost of others. And every opportunity that comes our way, I take the phone call. And we evaluate everything meticulously. There's a lot of interest in being part of what we're doing. Having said that, fit is really important. Right? Bringing additional value is really important, because you're not going to ask your members to take less money, and people are really important. So, we're very methodical and deliberate in the approach. I don't think anybody can predict the future, but there will be movement again in the next 5 years.
Absolutely. And I think everyone's bracing for that. And I mean, I'm sure I can speak for most fans that are just tired of all the conference shuffling.
I think fans have fatigue. I really do. I think fans have fatigue on the transfer portal. I think they have fatigue on NIL. I think they have fatigue on who's in what conference. And I think that's completely natural.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, it's just interesting to see the way that things will shape out, but it's just hard because the Imagine can take us anywhere. I mean, by 2031, I think that's a big year everyone's looking at. So going on, I guess, to some of our last questions. So let's talk a little bit about tomorrow's game. Of course, you are a party that has, interests on both sides.
Sure.
What do you think Army needs to do to win the game? And is there anyone on the Army team that's caught your eye this year?
Man, you're going to talk football with me now about this game? There's so many. It's hard for me to pin down a player, but there's so many players, and so many. In an Army-Navy game, it's very easy to say, well, Horvath and Helms. But to me, that's not what happens on Army-Navy Day. Somebody emerges in the Army-Navy game that you do not expect to emerge. But, whether it's Army or Navy, I'm not going to talk so much. I'm not going to go analyst mode and talk about keys to the game. But this game is always decided on who makes the big play at the opportune time and who can take care of the football. And these are two teams that have done pretty well taking care of the football this year. But in a game like this, you just never know. It's easy, the writers are writing, oh, Navy did this and Army was 6-6. And I'm just these people have clearly never been to the Army-Navy game, because you just don't know what's going to happen on game day. But as commissioner, I can't lose either way. I'm rooting for a close game, which means big TV ratings for both schools. And I think that's great for their business side and everything else. But this is really a showcase of America. And it makes you proud to live in this country, because this game is far more meaningful than football.
Yeah, absolutely. I think that's a very diplomatic answer from the commissioner.
Well, what do you expect? I got teams on both sides.
Absolutely.
It's a nice try, but no dice.
Did he pitch my late night ESPN show to you yet?
Not yet.
Let's do that now.
Yeah. So
So I really want to do a late night ESPN show. Can you make that happen for us?
I mean, I don't work at ESPN, but I can certainly introduce you to some people.
Thank you.
Thank you. And then thank you so much, sir. I mean, really appreciate the time.
Appreciate you having me.
And then I just want to shout out a friend of yours, a close friend of mine, Matty Waters. He said that
Yeah.
he said that you know, he could get an interview. I mean, we're interviewing now. I just want to give him a shout out.
How about that?
Mention his name on
What
air.
a small world.
Small world.
Terrific guy.
He
Great
is.
people, good family.
Absolutely. Big New Jersey Generals fan.
That's
How
right.
that's how we
right.
connected.
Well, that's how we are from New Jersey. We're loyal to New Jersey. So,
But thank you for your time,
thanks
sir.
a lot, man.
Appreciate it.
Yeah,
Thank you.
appreciate it. Thank
And,
you.
I'll be following up on the ref hat too.
Okay. Yeah, sounds good. Listen,